Hello, it was on this day in 1534 that Ignatius Loyola, with 6 of his companions, met to form what became the Society of Jesus, the Jesuits, a very continues to be a very significant missionary movement within the Roman Catholic Church. Indeed, Pope Francis was a Jesuit, and St. Ignatius Loyola wrote as the spiritual basis for his movement the spiritual exercises. And the key idea in that book is the idea of discernment. And it struck me that this was something, a skill that was important for all of us, whether we're Christians or not, because we're always making choices all the time, some of them really quite small, but of course a cumulative result of choices that aren't quite right for us can land us up in a place where we really don't want to be. So every choice, however small, is significant. But of course sometimes there are much bigger choices, and we're well aware of the importance of getting it right. So the idea of being able to discern the right thing to do is clearly a significant one. Now, of course, for St. Ignatius Loyola, the main process in discernment was to discern what God's will was for him and for his followers. And indeed, as Christians want to spend some time in prayer just trying to think that through. But I think for Christians, and indeed for people who are not wanting necessarily to find the will of God, but just want to do the right thing, recognizing that discernment needs to it involves considerable reflection, personal reflection, is important, because I think we need to work out what are the bases on which we're making our choices, what has brought us to where we are, because we've all got family backgrounds, we've got our upbringing, we've got our education, we've got our work, we've got our current family situation. All sorts of things affect us in the choices that we're making. And what we need to be careful of, according to Loyola, is to avoid any, what he calls, inordinate attachment. In other words, we need to make sure that nothing among all these things over influences us, makes us too determined to go down a path which might not be the right one. We need to get a clear view of where we are without giving overdue emphasis to any one of the influences upon us, so that we can really look at the situation about which we have to make a choice and discern the right one. And so today just a thought about the need to be thoughtful, even about small choices, and to make sure that we do take a little time to reflect not only on the choice itself, but on what we're bringing in our own lives to the making of that choice.